au dernier jour de notre section de formation. Comment vous sentez-vous tous en ce dernier jour de notre section? Êtes-vous excité d'être arrivé presque à la fin comme moi? Moi, je suis un peu excité là. Comment vous sentez-vous? J'aimerais bien voir la réaction. Est-ce que vous êtes content, fatigué?
Très bien, Richard.
Il faut contaminer. Pardon, c'est tout.
Très
Oui.
bien, Richard. Très bien. Aussi
Ah ouais,
enthousiaste.
super, super. J'aime bien l'enthousiasme. Enthousiasme. Voilà. OK. Donc, pour commencer cette dernière journée de notre section, sur cette mode de traitement et un peu énergétique, je voudrais vous proposer une petite activité qui est de chasse de trésors. Donc, je vous invite tous de participer. Donc, bientôt, je vais afficher une liste de 10 objets. Chacun d'entre vous devrait regarder autour de vous pour produire cet objet. Donc, la première personne qui a produit tous les objets en 3 minutes, on va donner seulement 3 minutes pour aller chercher 10 objets. Donc, la première personne qui va produire tous ces objets dans 3 minutes sera le gagnant. Mais si personne n'est capable de produire 10 objets dans 3 minutes, la personne qui aura le plus grand nombre d'objets gagnera la compétition. Êtes-vous prêt à jouer? Est-ce que tout le monde est prêt à jouer?
Oui, oui, on est prêt.
Super.
Oui.
OK, ça marche. Donc, pour cette activité, vous pouvez laisser ouvert votre vidéo si vous voulez bien. Donc, je vais bientôt partager mon écran. Laissez-moi quelques secondes. Voilà. Attends. Est-ce que vous voyez mon écran là?
Yeah.
Super. Je pense qu'il y a un problème avec la version arabe, mais est-ce que vous voyez bien? Donc, pour produire ces 10 objets, premier, c'est une photo de bébé, un plat de nourriture que vous aimez bien, donc ça reste à votre choix, une plante et le drapeau de votre pays, une montre bracelet, une photo d'animal d'accompagnement ou un animal d'accompagnement si vous avez un, et une paire de chaussures bleues, un drapeau, un ballon d'exercice et des lunettes de soleil. Est-ce que c'est clair cette liste?
What's the
Est-ce
last
que c'est
one?
clair, la liste? Des lunettes de soleil et sunglasses.
Okay.
Moi, j'ai le mien juste à côté, donc c'est pas difficile à chercher pour moi. En tout cas, pour les lunettes de soleil.
Bon, on va aller chercher nos lunettes de soleil alors.
Mais pour les restes, vous pouvez aller chercher. Donc, si c'est clair, c'est parti. Déjà, dans 3 minutes, si vous pouvez produire tous ces 10 objets, vous êtes le gagnant. Et sinon, le personne avec le plus nombre, serait le gagnant s'il n'y a pas de personne qui produit les 10 objets. Donc, si vous avez trois et il n'y en a pas un autre, moi j'ai déjà un. Donc, c'est parti. Dans 3 minutes, on se retrouve ici avec tous ces objets. Et si vous avez déjà, vous pouvez nous montrer aussi.
Moi, j'ai mes paires de lunettes.
Ah, super. Attends, je vais... C'est Brugère. C'est qui a son paire de lunettes?
C'est Brigitte, en RDC.
Ok, ok. Super.
Une montre et bracelet.
Félicitations. Mais il vous reste... Ah, ok. Il vous reste 8 alors. Oui. Moi, je pense que j'ai le
J'ai
mien.
aussi.
Je pense que je triche parce que c'est moi qui fais la liste, donc je connais déjà quelques objets. Donc, j'ai mon bracelet ici et mon lunette de soleil. Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un d'autre qui a trouvé quelque chose?
Moi, j'ai trouvé mes lunettes de soleil, mon chapeau et ma montre.
Montrez-nous votre lunette de soleil.
Oui, c'est
Moi, je
là.
vois pas. Ah, ok, super.
J'ai la montre.
C'est élégant.
Merci. Et j'ai
Super.
mon chapeau.
Super. Pour l'instant, c'est toi qui gagne, hein. Vous avez 3 objets. Moi et Brigitte, on est 2. Ça rentre pas dans le chapeau, Brigitte. Ça, c'est... Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un d'autre qui a trouvé quelque chose? On est 3. Nous.
Yes, it's me.
Anga. Yes, Anga,
It's
what
me.
have you found? Yeah.
Richard, maybe we can stop
What have
sharing
you
the
found?
screen.
Yes,
Then we can
sure.
I'm done.
Hi, gay.
Yeah, I'm done.
You are done, Pietro.
Yeah. And it
Montrez-nous.
better be a good gift because I just scattered my house and I'm panting right now.
Photo de bébé, photo de bébé.
Ok, montrez-nous, Pietro. Qu'est-ce
It's me.
que vous avez trouvé? Tous les
Okay,
10
let's start with
objets?
the
What?
baby photo. All of the 10, yeah.
Oh,
Ah, c'est mignon.
This is the baby photo.
Est-ce qu'on a une photo de bébé
Parfait.
là-bas?
The food. I have a poker oat here with me. The
okay.
plant.
Tiens,
Yes.
moi, je le-
I have a plant here.
Est-ce que c'est un vrai plan?
Country flag. I have a Nigerian flag here. A wristwatch. I have a
Super.
wristwatch. Blue shoes. I have a long tennis blue shoes here. Hat. I have
On
a cowboy
abandonne.
hat here. Ball. Where's my ball? I have a FIFA 2010 ball, South Africa here. And then sunglasses. I have an Armani glasses here. So
Oh là là, bravo Pietro. Bravo, bravo. Vida, moi. Bravo.
thank you.
Bravo,
Super.
bravo, bravo.
Oui, bonjour, bonjour. Je crois que j'ai levé la main, mais là, je suis déjà battu avant de commencer. Je crois que
Ah, ok.
je suis battu avant de commencer. Mais là,
Excusez-moi, désolé, j'ai pas vu avant.
oui, je suis battu avant de commencer parce que j'ai pas fait mieux que lui. J'ai quand même mes lunettes de soleil. C'est là. J'ai
D'accord.
ma montre. J'ai ma montre là. Attends, j'essaie de démarrer. Vous voyez la montre? Bracelet que je viens de porter. Une montre sportive pour le sport et pour mesurer la tension. Tout ça,
Super.
elle donne le temps aussi. J'ai ma chaussure bleue là pour le sport. Voilà. Donc, c'est ce que j'ai pu trouver pour l'instant. Mais je crois que je n'ai pas fait mieux que lui.
D'accord. Donc, pour l'instant, c'est Pietro qui gagne. Hein. OK, Anga et après
Bravo,
Brigitte.
Pietro, félicitations.
Anga.
Thank you.
Anga, vous avez levé le main. Vous voulez nous montrer ce que vous avez trouvé?
Yes. Anyway, I think it should be a cheat for those who are doing a training at home because I'm at work, but I managed to find a few things. So I believe I should be the winner.
Bravo, en tout cas.
Because I managed to find these things at the office.
I mean, I'm working from home, so I'm still at work.
No, man, no.
C'est l'avantage de travailler à
If I
la
was
maison.
home, I was going to get everything, you know. But okay.
D'accord.
Okay.
Donc,
This
vous
is
avez
what I
trouvé
got
quoi?
first. A plant.
Un plan.
I've got a hat.
Ouais. D'accord.
A wristwatch.
Okay.
D'accord.
And
Quoi?
also footing.
Wow, bravo. Même dans le
Yes,
bureau,
this
vous avez
is
trouvé
all
4
I have.
choses, c'est déjà formidable. Félicitations, Anga. Même dans votre bureau, j'espère que si vous étiez à la maison, vous pouvez gagner aussi. Ouais. OK, pour l'instant, vous êtes
Everything.
deuxième, je pense.
Definitely, I would have got
OK,
everything.
She will have a blue shoe.
on
She
va
will have
terminer
a blue
avec
shoe.
vous, Brigitte.
I've got a code in terms of the size of the colors. I've got a code that presents the blue.
Super.
Yeah, I deserve an award.
OK, Brigitte. Ouais, on va vous donner bientôt. Brigitte, dites-moi.
Alors, Brigitte en RDC,
Oui.
en Ogimata, sur tout ce que j'ai pu montrer, j'avais montré mes paires de lunettes,
Oui.
une montre. Derrière moi, vous voyez la carte de la RDC.
Ouais, bon, nous, on cherche le drapeau, mais la carte, c'est pas mal déjà.
Ah! Wow! Maintenant, je voulais entrer en détail, malheureusement. J'ai quand même un bouquet de fleurs.
Super.
Un chapeau sur moi. Un chapeau sur moi pour la protection des froids aussi. Et un peu de bouillie pour les bébés.
Super, mais il n'y a pas de photo de bébé. Vous triche là, Brigitte.
Il y en a qui bouillent à l'intérieur. Il y en a à
OK.
l'intérieur pour les bébés.
OK.
Là, j'ai rempli déjà les conditions. Ça devient 6.
Vous faites des équipes. Super. Bon. En tout cas, vous avez bien essayé. Félicitations. Pour l'instant, c'est Pietro qui a gagné. Il a trouvé tous les 10 objets. Donc, bravo. Applaudissez à Pietro. OK.
Bravo, Pietro. Bravo.
Bravo, Pietro. Vous êtes doué.
Félicitations, Pietro.
Ouais, je suis fier de toi. Maintenant, je peux dire que je suis Nigérien parce que Pietro a gagné. Donc, on est Nigérien, tu vois. Vous voyez.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
OK, merci à vous tous d'avoir participé et j'espère que ça a réchauffé un peu pour commencer notre dernière journée. J'espère. Donc, avec cet excitement et des énergies, j'invite maintenant Sushit qui va prendre le relais pour nous guider pour cette dernière journée. Bon, la première partie de cette dernière journée. Sochit, tu as la parole maintenant.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. So we are going to continue from where we left off yesterday, and we are going to go back to our programs and think of how transformative pedagogy comes into our programs. And that's going to be how to strengthen really and make sure that when participants, children, young people, those who go through the programs that you implement are actually going to be going through a transformative experience. That's what we will try to discuss today, right? So let me share the screen quickly. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so yesterday we talked about planning programs and how we can make sure our programs are sensitive to the context, and then it engages the whole school and the community, that not only later on, but from the beginning, we have to think how we make those connections. And then we have to be very critical in terms of how the program will help to challenge some of the narratives that promote violence, create mistrust, etc. So in the program design, we have to make sure that that we do this. Then we also talked about how the methodologies needs to be there. Transformative pedagogy means it's a participatory, as we talked about, it's collaborative. So within a safe learning environment, how they are able to actively participate and learn, not just be passive participants. So this component we talked about. We also talked about how important it is to create that safe learning environment where everybody feels included. So this was the part of the design of the program. But we stopped there yesterday, and then today we will continue in the next part. Now you have thought of, let's say, overall program, but then you have to think also of the content that you want to include. What are the topics that you want to discuss? What are the content you will include in the program that you will run? When it comes to education, one thing that we do is that we try to take a long-term approach, right? We are not thinking that all the problems will be resolved in 1 or 2 weeks or 1 or 2 months. We see that it might sometimes take a generation to change the cultural attitudes and the violence that is in the community, right? So if there's mistrust between communities, sometimes it does take a new generation to overcome that challenge, right? So in education, we think like that as well. So when we are thinking of content, we are not just thinking short term, we are thinking content that is suitable for longer term transformation in our societies as well. Now here, if you see this diagram, you can find this in the chapter 4 of the manual as well, and you can find it in Arabic and French there. The first part is about making sure that our participants become critically aware. So if we are doing a peace building program, the content has to be around peace building. So one aspect is that they have to become critically aware of their identity, who they are, how they relate to other people, how their identity relates to other people, and the shared humanity we have together as a humankind, right? So this is one component. All participants going through a peace education for peace building program needs to have the opportunity to reflect on their identity, how their identity relates to other identities, and then find the commonalities and the interconnectedness of humanity. Then another important part that they need to be aware of is to have space to dialogue, to surface stereotypes, biases, discrimination. These are things that happen in our society. So within a safe learning environment, we need to create opportunities for them to discuss about stereotypes, biases, discrimination, and the challenges that it presents to us in our societies. We also need to help them become critically aware of the importance of empathy, right? Being able to empathize with people of different backgrounds, understanding that they are diverse, but also seeing that commonality, being able to put ourselves in the shoes of the other, That is another area of content that we should try to include. Then we also need to help them understand what are some of the issues in the society, issues in terms of injustices taking place, conflicts, or the violence that is taking place, and how those issues impact other people, different groups of people. So how, for example, if there's a conflict going on, different communities are impacted by that conflict. Or if there is violence, how different identity groups are impacted by that violence, etc. So this area, we have called it becoming critically aware. So it's about becoming aware of what is the reality in our society and becoming aware of how I'm connected to that society. Right? So that's one block of content that we encourage for you to consider including in a program. The second block is called thinking critically. So yes, we become aware of the issues, but then we need to help them to read those issues, analyze them, understand what that means. So a bit more concrete analysis of what is the issue. It's easy to say there is poverty and people are poor, or if there is conflict, it's to say, or these communities have a conflict. But we need to help learners understand it at a deeper level, a bit more with analysis. What are the root causes? Yes, there is poverty, but what is justifying poverty? What are the cultural violence that justifies poverty? What are the structural issues? So helping them understand in critically around these issues. So the analysis part is important. At the same time, there is also narratives, especially on social media. In general, in society, we have many narratives. Narratives are things that are also used to justify violence, right? So, for example, in certain places, those people are out to get us. They are the bad people. So there's a narrative that's passed down to young people saying, don't trust that people from that community. Or you will see narratives around gender that comes up on social media. So we need to help them think beyond these narratives that propagate violence, to think of alternative narratives that can be transforming the thinking, the ideas as well. So we need to work at this level of how we transform narratives that justify violence. Sometimes there's narratives that, for example, another example of a narrative is that some groups that will use that if you don't belong to my religion, it's okay to, you are a person who's not a virtuous person. So because you don't practice my religion, you're not a virtuous person. And then if some harm happens to you, that's okay because you are not a virtuous person. So this kind of narratives, how do we demystify them and present alternative narratives, right? So that's the second block. Then we have a third block. How do we imagine? So it's not about understanding only, it's about creating. It's creating a new world. So how can these children and young people imagine a new reality, a peaceful reality, a peaceful community, a peaceful society? So how can they start working with people from the divide in the society? If the country has an issue between Muslims and Christians, can we encourage them to work together? So creating those experiences, opportunities, and discussing and understanding how they can work together. And this trust building, this relationship building is very important in terms of the content in the program. And at the same time, it's to also come together through dialogue, envision what is the solutions to the problems they're facing. This is very important that they discuss and come up with solutions together. And then if you see the next block, we say develop collective actions. And we yesterday talked about learner-led actions, and this is the collective actions part. So that they think of a peaceful society, they come up with solutions to get to that, build that peaceful society, and then they work together to as a project or an initiative or a campaign that contributes to a peaceful society. We know children and young people sometimes by themselves, they can't do everything. They can't bring peace to by themselves. So they will have to work with other community members, work with the community leaders, and make a contribution, right? It's not that they will resolve all the issues in society, but they can contribute to peace building, and that's very important. And at the last part, we've highlighted that there should be content that encourages them to reflect on themselves and be good role models in society, right? How to be a role model so that they are seen as role models in society, and even another generation, it gets inspired from them. So this is a model that we've highlighted that are different blocks of content that you can think. If it's a program on education for peace building, how can I include these components into the program? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this is with some goals in mind. Our goal is that this will help enhance youth participation and engagement in transforming their society. So through this, including this content, they develop their capacity, attitudes, and the responsibility to contribute to social transformation positively. They also will feel more connected with other communities, people of different identities, and develop those relationships and feel solidarity with one another. And then lastly, they will contribute towards a culture of peace and learning to live together, that their actions will help transform the society and contribute to the society to be a more one of culture of peace, and where people can learn to live together. So this is some content areas that we wanted to highlight. I want to ask you if you have any questions about these areas or any comments or any thoughts. And then after this introduction, we let you think of the content areas you want to include in a specific program. So at the moment, can I ask if you have any questions? I'm going to stop sharing screen because I can't see. Sorry, do you want to share something? If not, please mute yourself. And those who would like to share reflections, feel free to raise your hand, and then we'll invite you. Anyone who wants to add any reflections from your side? What in addition, are there content areas that you think are missing here that we should add? Or do you think these are good, useful content to include in a program? Yes, Pietro.
Okay, basically, I think no two projects are the same. The dynamics are different. So I would say for now, these contents are good to go. Depending on the dynamics at play in the field, we can now conduct a more tailored research to have some additions or exclusions. But I think these are the basic ones that are really useful.
Yes, and exactly as you said, as we said, it has to be context sensitive. But what we are highlighting is that there's projects for peace building and then projects on education for peace building. So some of the projects for peace building might not necessarily have a curriculum on content and some areas of content. They are more actions that you do, activities towards peace building. But if it's a project a bit more focused on education for peace building, then you should develop a small curriculum or a set of content for your program. And this can be some basis for that. And you adapt. If you are focusing a bit more around gender, then you can use this model and think of how this relates to gender or the environment, etc. This is a bit of unpacking of the transformative pedagogy and a suggestion, and you can build and customize as you want, as Pietro highlighted. Anyone else? Okay. I don't see any. Yes, Emmanuel.
Thank you, so much for the explanation and presentation. I think this is one of the best ways of adding to the programs that we are already doing. But at times, because I don't know, how do you look at the time frame to conduct such to add into this into the program? Because as you can see, some beneficiaries that we use who participate in our programs, most of them, they are even the level of education is very limited. So it also takes time for them to understand some of these, because at times they become too technical. So I don't know how long does it take to use these approaches. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Emmanuel, for that question. So the areas I highlighted, what I presented is for the facilitators or the program design, those who are involved in designing, for you to consider. But when it comes to the participants, then it's activities that come out. But you have to think and structure and design that activity in the program that you want to run. But as I also mentioned, as you say, it's important. These are things that will maybe take a bit more longer time. It's not that one workshop you will be able to cover all of this and people are transformed and they become very good peace builders. Working on peace building takes time, and so it might be sometimes a program that at this level, that's a bit longer term thinking. You might be able to break it down. So the same group, you might work over many years to build their capacity, but at the beginning, the initial project might be a very short one, small one, simple one. But then sometimes, for example, when I run projects, I do many projects with the same group so that their capacity and their understanding on peace building grows and they become actual change agents. Sometimes short-term activities are not really what we need, is not sufficient to bring the transformations we need in society. So I hope that answers. Any other comments? Okay, if not, maybe then we can go to a group activity so that we can think of a bit more this, how do we put together a set of contents and think of the content side, design part of our programs. For this, we have a small active group work that we would like to invite you to do. And I'm going to share a link with you on the what's in the chat. Okay, so we've gone back to one of the case studies that was discussed yesterday. This was the case study scenario related to Cameroon. And we had that case study said, or the scenario said that, Pietro, did you want to share something? I see, I just popped up, your name just popped up. Okay.
Sorry, please, it's a mistake. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So this is the same scenario from yesterday. One of your groups worked on it, but we have a different design today for you to think of related to this. So this is in Cameroon, where there's different religious group in the community, in the society, and there is issues of mistrust. There is a lack of acceptance of the diversity. So your organization, you are part of a youth NGO, youth-led NGO, and you've been requested to plan an initiative with a group of children who are 14 to 18 years. And this is a program that you will run for 6 months. And you've selected already 30 participants from the different religious groups for this program, right? So what you are going to think about is how you would include, what sort of content would you include in this program. But there is a bit more detail. So in terms of the design of the program, as I said, this is a group of 14 to 18-year-olds from different religious backgrounds. There's 30 of them, and the duration is for 6 months. The design is that in the first 3 months, there will be every Saturday a session for this group of 30 participants. The session has 2 parts. The first part is an educational workshop or a small session with them for 90 minutes. In that session, you will cover different topics about respect that helps to create mutual respect, appreciation for diversity, and create opportunities for dialogue among the participants. So that's the first part for 90 minutes. In the second part, they have a 1 hour sports activity. So not only the workshop, but they also have sports and arts activities that they will do separately, right? So that happens every Saturday during the first 3 months. So that means there will be 12 sessions where they will have this first part A, where they will have 90 minutes to go through a session. So 12 sessions of 90 minutes will be there as part of this first 3 months. In the second part of phase of the program, they will have the opportunity to come up with a small project. Now they have thought of they have worked together, they have discussed about many issues in their society, and they would, in the second part of the project, they will come up with a small project that they would like to do to contribute to some change in their society. Yeah, and they have 3 months to plan and implement that project, and they will decide what that project is. So this is the design of the program. When you go to the link, you can go to the second page, you will find it in French as well. And when you go to the third page, you will find it in Arabic as well. What you will do is, now looking at this program design, discuss and come up with the contents for the 12 sessions, each of 90 minutes. Right? So you have some idea of what is there. You have to come up with the content that you want to include here. The first step I invite you to do is, when in your group, agree on the learning objectives. What do you want them to learn? So at the end of the program, what should they have learned? So come up with maybe some learning objectives for the program. And then based on those learning objectives, come up with the topics that you want to include for the 12 sessions. Remember, the 12 sessions should create them a space and a safe space for them to work together, understand, and build trust. At the same time, it should help them with the basic understanding about society and the issues, so that they later on can come up with a good project to contribute to the social transformation, to peace building work, right? So that's the design. Is the task clear for everyone? Do you have any questions? Is what you need to do clear? Is it clear? Can I see hands up, thumbs up if it's clear? Okay, so I see some thumbs up. What about others? Anybody who has a question? Okay, so yeah, I see lots of thumbs up now. Jean, are you raising your hand? Jean Vidal?
Yes, not just for so that it's clear.
Okay, perfect. Okay, then let's go into the group. You will have about 20 minutes to discuss and come up with the content for the program. Please appoint one person from the group to be the note taker, so that when you come back, you can share a bit about what you came up with, right? So I'm going to invite you to go to the breakout rooms. There is 4 rooms, 2 in French and one in English and one in Arabic. So please join them. And if you need help, please ask us and we'll help you, allocate you to a room.
Premièrement, nous devons identifier les éléments de nos différences, genre qu'est-ce qui nous ressemble, puis qu'est-ce qui nous sépare. Et ainsi, on a dit, nous devons aussi identifier quels sont les stéréotypes au sein de notre communauté, des stéréotypes ou des préjugés, donc le jugement des valeurs. C'est un peu ça ce que je peux dire. Merci.
Thank you. So yes, I think those are very important. So you start with helping them understand the similarities and differences, and then also discussing some of the stereotypes and how they impact how we behave with one another. But what after? What happens after that? Especially if they have to come up with solutions to the problems in society, some contribution as a peace building project. Maybe they need then something more after that as well. Okay, so shall we hear from group 3 then?
Oui, dans le groupe 3, nous avons d'abord, nous sommes revenus sur l'objectif qui était de créer une société inclusive pour la cohésion des religions et cultures. Nous avons vu que les sessions, les ateliers avaient pour but de la sensibilisation sur les religions existantes et les pratiques des différentes cultures. Nous avons essayé de mettre des contenus dans chaque session. Pour les premières sessions, nous avons dit que nous allons, les premières sessions tous les samedis, nous allons mettre l'accent sur la définition des concepts. On va définir ce que c'est que le respect, la diversité culturelle, l'éducation à la paix, le respect d'autrui. Donc, on va mettre l'accent sur la définition des concepts dans les premières sessions. Ensuite, les sessions suivantes, nous allons focaliser les activités sur le partage des points positifs et des points communs à chaque religion. Par la suite, d'autres sessions, nous allons faire des sessions avec des jeux de rôle. Et les jeux de rôle, on invite chacun à essayer de jouer un rôle de l'autre religion. Donc, le chrétien a joué le musulman a joué le chrétien. Ensuite, quand nous aurons fini ça, on va prendre une session pour faire le suivi et l'évaluation des activités des différents ateliers. Concernant le sport, on va faire, ce qu'on propose, c'est de faire des randonnées et de faire des jeux individuels. Et comme le Cameroun, c'est un pays de football, où on aime beaucoup de football, on va faire un sport collectif qui permet le brassage des différents individus au football. Voilà. Et à la fin, on pourra faire toujours une évaluation par rapport aux activités sportives. Et après, on fera avec les jeunes une évaluation finale. Et voilà un peu de façon ramassée ce que nous avons dit dans notre groupe. Merci.
Thank you, Jean Vital, and thank you, Group 3. That looks like a very exciting program and a very thought-out program, and something that I would also like to participate if I have the opportunity. So thank you for that excitement. Can we hear from Group 4?
Okay. Group 4. It was a very heated focus group discussion. We came up with aims and objectives as one, to build trust, tolerance, empathy, unity, and respect, and also to build the capacity of the disabled for them to be employable, because we also noticed that there are some economic issues with them. So we split our activities from week 1 to week 12, as the case may be. We left the sporting activities to be determined by what is obtainable in their environment, while the transformative pedagogy starts with introduction and feedback and expectation for week 1. Week 2, we have the sociocultural activities and experience sharing for week 2. Week 3, we settled with moral instruction, training them on civic responsibilities, human rights, etc. Then from week 4 down to week 10, we agreed on vocational training to build their economic capacity. And that includes soap making, pastries, you know, so that they could set up on their own at the end of their training. Coming to week 11, we agreed on friendship exchange, friendship cultural exchange, so that the North can visit the West vis-a-vis to understand each other's culture and show acceptability in various communities. Then week 12, we settled for a sporting tournament and empowerment. You know, they have a sporting competition there. We will assess how they accept each other, how they've come to live with one another, how they react to certain issues on the sporting field, because sports seems to bring out different sides of people. And then at the end of the games, we give them stipends for empowerment. Then the grants we will give them will take care of the section 2, which they are to decide on their own, but we will also try to engineer or propose that they do more in advocacy and raising awareness to demystify certain stereotypes and improve trust and acceptability of those indigenous people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pietro. Again, thought out and good set of content so that it progresses slowly and people start with understanding and building that trust, and then you start talking about some of the issues and then thinking of solutions. So thank you very much. So good work from group 4 as well. In the last few minutes, I also tried to think of some content areas without necessarily thinking of the methodology. So I haven't included that, like how they will do it, but this is just another example to add to. Sorry, if you can mute. Shukuru. Okay. So this is just another example of how you can think of the content. The first week can be an introduction, and then, as many of you said, to get to know each other, to have those expectations, and build the trust. Then maybe the second week is about that, as you said, also appreciating the similarities, discovering the differences. So I've called it understanding myself, others. So talking about these identities we have. Then the next one about empathy. So for example, doing role plays like you suggested, so that we understand the situations of the other people and how it is like to live in the shoes of the other. Then about diversity, differences, how do we see diversity? How do we appreciate it? How do we live the diversity? Then, so at the very beginning, a bit more about themselves and how they relate. And so a bit more about identity, empathy, and a bit positive things about society. Then maybe in the middle, we start to talk a bit about some of the challenges. So things like stereotypes, biases, etc. And then maybe we go into discussing a bit about discrimination, how it impacts people, what sort of discrimination takes place in our communities. And maybe then also, if it's suitable, to talk about conflicts. What type of conflicts are taking place? How do we manage these conflicts? Maybe then also about non-violence, how our religions teach not to be violent towards others. And so talking about these positive teachings from our religions as well. Then how do we build peace? How do we ensure our communities live together? So maybe a topic around that. And then the last part, let's say the last few sessions have to go into a bit more about problem solving, right? So then what are the issues in society? What can we do to solve those problems? So maybe I would say sessions 9, 10 can be, or 10 and 11 can be about problem solving, how to think of solutions. They come up with solutions to some of the problems. And then based on those solutions, they can start planning a project, how to plan a project. And then in the second phase, which is months 4, 5, and 6, they can do a community project. So this was another thing, and I think your designs were very similar to this. So I'm happy to see that you really started to think about the content too that you would like to include in your programs as well. The next part, what we want to do is then to see how do we make sure this is participatory and really helps this transformation take place in each of the sessions. So we will introduce a tool that can help you make sure that the 90 minutes you have 12 sessions and each one for 90 minutes. So within 90 minutes, you have to do something that's engaging, exciting for the participants, but also is something that may helps them dialogue in a deep way and to go through some transformations, right? So maybe for now, we take a break, and then when we come back, we will discuss, I will hand over to Richard, and Richard will take us through introducing what we call the learning process as a tool. So can we for now break for about 9 minutes? And Makta, you had raised your hand, sorry. Go ahead, Makta.
نعم شكرا للجميع. أنا كنت في المجموعة العربية، وسبق إلياس أن يبين جميع ما اتفقنا به، لكن أريد أن أزيد شيئا ما، وحسب رأيي هذا شيء مهم جدا. يعني مهما يكون من البرنامج علينا أن نركز كل التركيز في المبادئ الديني الأصيل، لأن جميع الأديان تدعون إلى التسامح والعفو والاحترام إلى الغير. الشيء الذي يتيح لرجل الديني أن يفهم جيدا مبادئ دينه الأصيل التي تضد تماما إلى العنف والتسامح. إذا لابد أن نركز في برنامجنا إلى تدريس الناس مبادئ الدين لكي نفهم جيدا بأن جميع الأديان تميلون إلى وجهة واحدة، الشيء الذي يساعدنا أن نجتنب كل الاجتناب، كل ما هو عنصر وكل ما هو تشدد وكل ما هو تحجر. وشكرا.
Thank you, Makta. Yes, exactly. In the context of Cameroon, the scenario said that there is this religious difference, and that's part of the challenge they're facing. It's, as you said, very important to highlight the positive teachings from the religions that helps us overcome those challenges. And at the same time, also talk about some of the other social issues and how we can transform those so that we can live together better. So thank you very much for that contribution. Let's take a break, maybe for about 7 minutes, and then we come back. So if anybody is willing to be the DJ for our break, please raise your hand, and then you can take over by playing some music for us. But otherwise, let's come back in 7 minutes. We'll call you once the break is over. Muleta, I see you would like to share music. Please go ahead. Muleta, we can't hear you. Maybe you're muted.
How about now?
No, not yet. No, when you share screen, there is a place to click. You have to click that tick box so that the audio can be heard.
To share a music.
Okay, Ilyas, maybe Muleta, then maybe
Hello.
Ilyas share, and then we come back to you. Yes, Ilyas, go ahead. Ilyas, are you going to share?
Hello.
Yes.
Let me to share a music. Let me to share a screen.
You can.
Sharing.
Yes, you can. Go ahead. You should be able to try now.
Hello.
Yes.
À chaque minute on ne fait que s'embrasser. Oh, allez, qu'on les comble. Pour toi je pourrais tout donner. Donner. Mole, qui be mañana que te vale lo. Lo que yo nam ye neng pao nyang vale vo. Baby ne ojo le konye kwano na butao me. Mole, qui be mañana que te vale lo la. Lo que yo nam ye neng pao nyang vale vo. Baby ne ojo le konye kwano na butao me. Hola namagle, baby mlelo ye, melo imavame, solo dans me. Les dignes me recaillent, j'aimerais bien te marier. Baby en toute sincérité, je te promets la vérité. On n'aura point de secret, toi et moi allons tout partager. Les dignes me recaillent, j'aimerais bien te marier. Qu'on les comble. Pour toi je pourrais tout donner. Donner.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the beautiful music. Richard, can I hand over to you then?
Thank you so much. Bienvenue à nouveau à vous tous.
Merci.
Donc, comme Sushit l'a dit avant de partir en pause, nous voulons souligner un peu rapidement un aspect très important que nous appelons le processus d'apprentissage. Mais avant d'introduire cette partie, ce processus d'apprentissage, j'aimerais savoir si nous nous souvenons toujours des 6 éléments de la pédagogie transformationnelle que nous avons parlé hier et que nous continuons à travailler sur. Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un qui rappelle le premier élément de cette pédagogie? Est-ce que quelqu'un, si vous voulez parler, vous pouvez prendre le micro ou lever la main ou écrire sur le chat. J'aimerais savoir un peu si nous souvenons toujours cet élément. Est-ce qu'il y a des gens qui veulent pas? Brigitte, vous voulez partager? Je vois votre nom là. Ok, vas-y.
OK. Par rapport aux 6 éléments avantageux, nous avions parlé de la sensibilité du contexte.
Super, merci. Ça, c'est le premier. Merci, Brigitte. Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un d'autre qui veut se souvenir du deuxième? Ah. Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un d'autre?
Second element is safe learning environment.
Safe learning environment. Merci beaucoup, H. Le troisième? Le troisième? Il y a quelqu'un?
Sinon, Brigitte est prête?
Oui, vas-y, Brigitte, s'il y a personne d'autre. Oui, vas-y.
Le troisième
Oh,
élément.
merci à tous.
The fourth one is participatory and collaborative learning. The fourth one.
Merci, yes. OK. Le quatrième, cinquième et sixième.
And the fifth one is role modeling.
Role modeling, modèle de comportement, oui.
OK.
Et de représentation de modèle, oui. Cinquième et sixième.
Five is the role of schooling and community.
Approche globale de l'école et de la communauté. Merci, Elias. Et Brigitte, peut-être vous pouvez compléter le dernier.
And the sixth one is participant-led collective action.
D'accord, merci, Elias. OK, soutenir.
Les actions menées par les autres.
D'accord, soutenir les actions menées par les apprenants, par les autres. Super. Merci à vous tous d'avoir partagé. C'est très important de rappeler et de faire un lien entre cet élément et cette nouvelle partie qu'on va parler. Et plutôt de voir comment renforcer tous ces 6 éléments dans notre programme d'apprentissage ou notre programme éducatif ou éducation pour la paix. Autant qu'éducateur pour la paix, lorsque vous planifiez vos activités d'apprentissage, il est important d'organiser les activités d'apprentissage de manière à ce que chacun de ces éléments de la pédagogie transformationnelle soit effectivement renforcé dans un environnement d'apprentissage. Donc, pour ce faire, vous disposez de cette courbe d'apprentissage qui va vous aider, autant que facilitateur, d'adopter une approche étape par étape pour vous assurer que le participant implique activement dans l'expérience d'apprentissage. Permettez-moi de partager mon écran. Un instant. Hello, mon. Juste un instant, s'il vous plaît. Je vais pas mon écran. Ouais, j'ai beaucoup de fichiers. Sinon, Sushit, est-ce que vous pouvez partager pour moi le processus d'apprentissage, s'il vous plaît, si vous avez. Ah ouais, voilà. Je l'ai ici. OK. Est-ce que mon écran est clair? Est-ce que vous voyez mon écran?
Oui, c'est bon.
Super.
Yes, you can.
OK. Donc, pour tout le processus, le programme d'apprentissage que vous organisez autant qu'éducateur pour la paix, il est important d'essayer de voir comment renforcer tous les 6 éléments comme je viens de parler tout à l'heure et comment stimuler une expérience pour motiver les participants de s'engager vraiment dans le processus ou du sujet que vous discutez. Le premier élément de cette courbe, qui est la motivation, avant d'introduire cette nouvelle idée, avant d'introduire chaque nouvelle idée dans votre programme éducatif, même si dans chaque sujet, pas seulement pour l'éducation pour la paix, mais dans un process pour stimuler, pour motiver, avant d'introduire une nouvelle idée, il est important de stimuler tout d'abord des curiosités des participants sur le sujet que vous allez introduire et de remettre en question leur perception et de motiver à explorer davantage. Non. Pour nous, nous commençons toujours parfois par une energizer comme on a fait aujourd'hui avec l'activité que j'ai fait tout à l'heure, ou quelques activités qui est liée avec le sujet qu'on va discuter pour une sorte d'activité qui mène au sujet et qui vous êtes en point de discuter, par exemple. Et il y a 2 jours, lorsque nous parlons du rôle de l'éducation pour la paix, nous avons fait une activité intitulée Ce que je défends pour ouvrir la conversation sur la façon dont un enfant devrait être formé et tout le reste de questions qu'on a discutées. Cette activité a apporté une dynamique très intéressante avec certains d'entre vous qui apprenaient une position pour et l'autre qui apprend pour contre et des intermédiaires. Et en fonction des différentes positions que vous avez prises, nous avons ouvert la conversation. Donc, l'idée dans cette activité, c'est plutôt de stimuler ou de vous motiver déjà de entrer dans la discussion sur le rôle de l'éducation. Et sans tout d'abord commencer par vous dire le rôle de l'éducation doit être là, blablabla, mais on sait déjà que vous avez quelques connaissances avant, mais avant d'entrer dans le détail, on voudrait stimuler cette idée à vous avant de commencer. Et on passait dans le deuxième, dans le groupe, qui est l'exploration. Lorsque des apprenants, des élèves sont motivés, ils sont plus disposés d'explorer davantage le sujet. Donc, cette étape permet plutôt aux participants d'explorer des idées et d'acquérir de nouvelles expériences par le biais de l'expérience pratique de l'autre participant. Et aussi, c'est un bon moment de créer une atmosphère où les participants peuvent ouvrir les uns et les autres à exprimer leurs pensées, leurs sentiments et que leur esprit à l'intérieur le dit. On fait de référence à nouveau à des activités de CG différents que j'ai parlé tout à l'heure. Nous demandons à ceux qui étaient prêts à partager pourquoi ils ont pris la position qu'ils ont pris, afin de mieux vous comprendre et de voir que qu'est-ce qu'on peut attirer de vos positions. Je pense que j'ai dans autre langue, mais désolé que mon diaporama est seulement en anglais, mais j'ai aussi cette diaporama en arabe et en français que je vais partager après mon session. Donc, après cette exploration des idées qui venaient de chaque participant, on peut déjà entrer dans le dialogue. On commence à parler à partir de la position de chaque personne, de dialoguer et d'entrer pour partager entre chaque participant, entre chaque apprenant, de découvrir les uns et les autres et l'occasion de remettre en question aussi leur propre perception. Parce que si j'ai mon propre perception et vous avez vos propres perceptions, que nous tous partageons, on commence à apprendre à ouvrir les uns et les autres pour voir les différentes perceptions et ça me donne aussi de questionner mon propre perception. Donc, il faut créer cet espace approprié où les participants se sentent à l'aise pour participer pleinement sans être jugés. Même dans l'activité qu'on a fait, par exemple, ce que je défends, il y a des gens qui disent c'est bon de frapper des enfants pour donner des corrections. Mais pour nous, on n'a pas dit c'est mauvaise réponse. Mais déjà, pour savoir pourquoi vous avez pris cette position et pourquoi l'autre a dit c'est pas bon pour frapper des enfants, pour donner cet espace déjà d'ouvrir à la dialogue sans vous juger à votre position. Et le quatrième, c'est le découverte. Donc, grâce au processus de dialogue, que les participants découvrent de nouvelles compréhensions et des idées. Mais comme vous le savez peut-être, les découvertes ne sont pas quelque chose qui arrive immédiat ou de la même façon pour tout le monde. Donc, il faut un espace nécessaire pour partager les principaux résultats que les gens ont découverts. Et cet espace de découverte, c'est un espace qu'on s'appelle, ou un moment que nous, on dit, c'est un moment que les gens peuvent dire, ah bon, moi, je ne savais pas avant. Ah, c'est vrai, parce que vous découvrez les nouvelles connaissances, vous prenez de nouvelles idées, de nouvelles opinions, et ça ouvre une chambre de réflexion à nouveau, de voir tout ce que vous avez appris avant même de participer dans ce processus d'apprentissage, et vous commencez à remettre encore en question, vous découvrez des nouvelles idées, et ça vous amène à la réflexion pour voir si tout ce que vous avez appris avant, déjà, c'est toujours valable ou on doit changer, vous devez changer votre idée. Donc, cet moment de réflexion, c'est aussi de trouver un lien avec toi-même, vous-même. Vous pouvez prévoir du temps pour la réflexion individuelle autant qu'éducateur, bien sûr, ou en utilisant des journaux, parce que ce qu'on veut organiser, bon, vous pouvez dire les gens pour exprimer leurs réflexions publiquement, mais ils peuvent aussi écrire leurs réflexions personnelles, ce qu'ils ont appris dans votre processus. Et le dernier partie de cette processus d'apprentissage, c'est l'action. L'action ne sont pas quelque chose qui est toujours fait pendant l'apprentissage. c'est quelque chose qui vient parfois après l'apprentissage et qui doit, parce que tout apprentissage doit avoir un résultat. Donc, chaque section que vous organisez devrait se conclure par une mise en œuvre ou une mise en relation de participants pour conclure par pour faire un lien entre ce qu'ils ont appris avec leur propre réalité et comment ils vont entrer dans la réalité qu'ils vivent actuellement pour contribuer à la solution et comment construire la solution, soit au niveau individuel ou au niveau collectif. Donc, vous créez aussi cet espace pour eux pour développer leurs actions, leurs propres actions. C'est qu'on va faire tout à l'heure après cette section pour développer vos actions, comment vous allez mettre en œuvre tout cet apprentissage que vous avez accueilli pendant cette 4 journées, comment vous allez mettre en œuvre. Donc, pour vous aussi, autant qu'éducateur, il faut créer cet espace pour les gens qui participent à votre section d'apprentissage pour créer aussi des actions dans leur communauté, rentrer dans la communauté pour instruire et mettre en œuvre quelque chose. Et vous voyez que cette courbe, cette processus est fait une manière de courbe parce que vous pouvez toujours revenir en arrière après des actions pour commencer peut-être vos actions pour motiver des autres ou vous-même pour continuer le processus que vous avez lancé ou pour revoir, faire de réflexions sur vos actions pour voir est-ce qu'on avait fait la bonne action ou pas avant de rentrer dans le nouveau processus. Donc, vous pouvez toujours revenir en arrière, faire le même processus à partir de motivation, exploration, dialogue et comment découvrir. Et donc, pour la planification de votre contenu de section, il est toujours important de prendre en compte ce processus d'apprentissage parce que c'est pour les gens, pour apprendre vraiment, il faut être motivé. Il faut être un espace d'exploration et de dialogue entre eux et pour découvrir de nouvelles connaissances, de nouveaux champs et donner aussi des espaces de réflexion. C'est à partir de ça qu'il faut construire leurs propres actions. Voilà, je vais partager quelques plans d'action ou plans de section qu'on avait conçu pour un de notre session ici. Mais avant ça, je vais vous poser s'il y a des questions sur cette courbe. Est-ce que c'est bien compris ou des questions? Sinon, je vais partager un exemple qu'on a fait, comment on a utilisé ce processus d'apprentissage pour construire une section qu'on a fait pendant ce programme. Mais est-ce qu'il y a des questions avant que je passe aux prochaines diapos? Est-ce que c'est bien clair? Est-ce que c'est bien compris? Oui, Elisa.
Oui, c'est bon.
OK,
J'ai
OK, merci,
une-
Elisa.
merci. J'ai une seule petite question. Pour la phase
Oui.
d'exploration, là, je n'ai pas bien compris. Qu'est-ce qu'on explore exactement? Est-ce que vous pourriez peut-être brièvement résumer c'est quoi cette phase? Merci.
Oui, merci, Elisa. Vous explorez les questions ou des sujets que vous discutez, mais avant parce que l'idée, c'est d'abord stimuler les gens pour entrer dans la discussion de cette question que vous allez parler. Par exemple, vous discutez de respect pour les uns et les autres. Mais avant d'entrer dans de discuter des questions de respect pour les uns et les autres, et vous donnez des espaces aux gens. Comment le respect pour les uns et les autres sont faits aujourd'hui dans notre communauté, dans notre contexte? Est-ce qu'il y a des respects? Est-ce qu'il y a des gens qui promouvoient des haines entre eux? Ils commencent à partager leurs idées parce que déjà, ils ont motivé de discuter ce sujet. Mais s'il n'y a pas de motivation, on va parler du respect pour les uns et les autres dans notre classe. Et il y a des gens qui ne sont pas prêts à entrer dans cette démarche ou de même parler s'ils ont subi une question de haine contre eux avant. Donc, déjà, avec cet espace d'exploration, ils commencent à poser des questions, à ouvrir de nouveaux champs et des choses qui sont liées au sujet que vous allez discuter et leurs propres positions qui vont prendre sur les sujets. Moi, je pense que le respect pour les uns les autres est important. Moi, je pense que c'est pas le plus important dans notre société aujourd'hui. C'est pour créer des lois, pour empêcher des gens, pour faire comme ça. Tu vois, tout le monde commence à partager leurs idées qu'il a en lien avec le sujet qu'on va discuter. À partir de chaque position qu'ils ont pris, vous offrez le dialogue entre eux. Donc, cette exploration, donner cet espace de connaître la position des apprenants, en fait.
نعم
Je ne sais pas si j'étais assez clair.
كنت اللي فاتوها
Vous
لي
m'avez demandé de résumer, mais je parlais plus que résumer. Mais merci,
Merci bien,
Elisa.
oui, c'est
Ça va
clair.
ايه في
poser.
القلب
Ouais.
C'est bien clair.
OK. Est-ce qu'il y a une autre question?
Any other questions?
Richard, maybe just a
OK.
small addition.
J'arrête de partager cette... Yes, please.
Yes. So
Vas-y,
for you to
Sushit.
also understand, thank you. For you to understand the exploration, it can also be that, as Richard said, you are going to do a session about respect, and maybe at the beginning, the exploration is a game that you play. And that game allows them to behave with one another. They have to build something together. So they have to do something and you have experience that you can then talk about. How did you respect each other in this game? So instead of just going and talking about respect, you create an experience for the participants and they play a game and then unpack from that game. Were you respectful with one another? And then you create that dialogue and build. So exploration can come in many forms. One is to play an activity or a game, or it can be sometimes to ask them to make a drawing, like a drawing so that they time a moment where they felt they were not respected. So they make a drawing about it. So it can not be activities, it can be more reflective type of activity. Different things can help that exploration so that the learners, the children, young people can have the time to process within themselves. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Sushit. Merci, Sushit.
Thank you, Suchit.
Ouais. J'ai problème.
I see Elisa.
J'ai problème de pas. Yes, Elisa, s'il vous plaît.
Ah, pardon, non, c'était encore...
No, I'm sorry, it was earlier, sorry.
Ok. J'essaie de partager mon écran encore.
Okay, I will try to share my screen again, but there seems to be a technical issue.
Voilà.
Perfect.
Partage.
Share screen. So as you see, it is still in English. I'm sorry about this. But as we said in the first day, we did an exercise. And this exercise was meant for us to meet each other and to get to know ourselves and each other, of course. So we used this learning process and of course our collective objective of trying to understand this, and we also took into consideration the logistic ideas. So we used all those things to think about how we can motivate others to get to know each other. So we decided to do this activity by drawing stars with 5 edges, and we asked you several questions that you needed to ask. And then we moved to exploration and dialogue. We suggested that you share your stars with others to see if there are common points, if there are similar ideas between people. And after that, we opened a space for thinking and to discover that, oh, I have something in similar or something in common with someone from Cameroon. There are people who inspire us both. And we learned that we all like to work for peace building for the same reason. So you were able to discover each other and to get to know each other. And when you see those common points or those things in common between you and someone from Cameroon, for example, you realize that there's something in Cameroon with whom you can work on peace building. And it allows you to think more about how you can cooperate with people from different levels and categories of the society to prevent violence and to build peace. So this was just a small introduction exercise that we did on this learning process to make sure that there's enough space for people to share their ideas and to be able to ensure dialogue between different people. So through this, we learned things about how people behave, how people think, and what inspires them. And of course, we didn't take it from a school approach or from an education approach, but we did create a space for you to get to know each other and to see if you're going to be able to feel comfortable talking to each other. So this was just an introduction to dialogue and to a discussion before moving to talking about peace building and preventing violence. So as you see, we thought about this very well, and it opened the way and it paved the way to the discussion that we held later on. So that's what I wanted to share with you. So when you're planning for different training programs on education for peace, you should always take into consideration this process, this learning process, because from this process, you can create a space allowing you to go deeper into the subject that you're tackling, and it allows you to use your knowledge for this purpose as well. So I will leave this right here. If you don't have any questions about this, I think we're good. And I'm gonna leave the floor for my colleague, Mina. But I will just wait a bit, just in case there are questions. I see there's something in the chat. Can we have the file that describes the agenda and the steps of transformative pedagogy? Yes, of course you can. So I'm going to share this with you. We're going to share the agenda after this, of course. Any other questions? Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Asa Nelu. So I will leave the floor to Mina. See you later. Mina.
Thank you, Richard. مساء الخير.
Good evening. For sure, I'd like to thank you all for your active participation and thank you all for your positivity and high spirit you have shown.
I'm sorry, before we start, can you make sure that your microphones are muted? Thank you.
The question will be dedicated to receive the user questions all the time. and it will have some kind of an evaluation session. And then the session will go together in order to know more and more about the output of this workshop. Okay, and which will help us and enlighten us and developing and designing the action plans and the programs we will work on later on. If you remember, in the first day, we have the implementation phase, and also we have set some kind of rules in order to ensure that we will have a safety education that is depending on the participatory and the collaborative participation. And also we have put our expectations from the very beginning, and I hope that we have achieved the huge part of that at the end of the workshop. I hope that you are remembering these expectations because we will need it in our sessions.
التقييم التشاركي هيكون في تقييم مكتوب وده من خلال استمارة جوجل اللي شاركها سوتشيف من خلال صندوق الدردشة. هتلاقوا الرابط موجود في صندوق الدردشة حاليا. تقدروا من بعد انتهاء ورشة العمل اليوم، وأفضل مباشرة بعد انتهاء ورشة العمل عشان تكون الأفكار ما زالت ناضجة، إن انتوا تملوها. لكن حاليا احنا هنكون مع بعض في جلسة نقاشية عشان نتعرف بشكل أكبر على مخرجاتكم وتوقعاتكم، كمان تشاركونا مشاعركم
your outputs by end of the session of the last day of the workshop. Now let me share my screen.
this here.
So now we will play again together. We will do role play. We will call it hand, heart, and mind. This play concept is about measuring three things, and we need to know three main things. As for the mind, we'll present the things that we've learned, the things that we have acknowledged and come through the workshop. Could be like learned lessons or a certain piece of information or some knowledge that we knew before, but it has some changes throughout the collaboration with the groups. As for the heart, it would represent the feelings, the emotions. Have your emotions been changed from the first day till the last day? Are you happy? Are you satisfied with the scenarios, with the whole program? Have you felt this sort of collaboration spirit? If there's something that you felt that is really positive that you want to share with us. As for the hand, it represents the action or the recommendations or the outputs regarding the pedagogy that we will just have as outputs for our workshop so we can apply it after we conduct the workshop. Now we will open the discussion for around 20 to 25 minutes, and whoever would like to share his ideas, please raise your hand by the raise hand feature on Zoom, and then we can pass the microphone to you.
أنا ممكن أوقف بعد إذنكم، هعمل stop share.
Sorry, I will just stop sharing the screen because I just cannot see the raising hands feature. So again, if anyone would like to share with us the ideas about the moral lessons or the learned lessons, the feelings or the outputs that you feel that this will be your upcoming steps that you can apply in the common program. So whoever would like to share his ideas, please again use the raise hand feature on the Zoom application.
انتوا تقدروا كمان تستخدموا الصندوق.
Also you can use the chat box feature.
احنا حابين
نسمع share your ideas. But again, I want to confirm that we really want to listen from you. And again, it's really recommended to use your camera.
Serene.
Serene.
Syrian.
Syrian.
Oui, désolée de ne pouvoir ouvrir ma caméra.
Yes, I'm really sorry, but I'm not able to open my camera. I am on my way, so I'm driving. This is why I cannot open my camera. However, I would like to give my impression concerning the workshop. For me, it was a very, very big opportunity, and I was really, really satisfied from the beginning and until the end of the workshop. And it was great because we could do it online, and even though we could not see each other, we had a really participatory session. It was really, really nice. So concerning my what I expected from the beginning of the workshop is the fact to really understand and be able to master the process of the learning process. And I think that until now, I'm really, really satisfied. For the future, for me, because I'm in Cameroon, and especially with all of the conflicts that we're currently facing, ethnic, religious conflicts, etc. So for me, I would like to be able to adopt all of these elements to the young people, especially like me, because I'm part of the civil society and we work with young people. So in order for us to be able to integrate everything that we have learned into our action plans, in order to contribute, in order to better the conditions in our countries, and as actors of the public, really, I would like to take back these elements to the assembly, especially because of, excuse me, to the health sector, because it's really, really important, especially with the problems that we are facing, to ensure that the physical and the mental health of everyone is ensured, especially that we're facing a lot of conflicts and a lot of problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Karen, for this great participation. I think that if there is something that we haven't accomplished, we still can work on. And again, let me remind you that the milestone of the workshop is to make sure that if you would like us to focus on a specific point, like work team or like task force by the towards the common workshops, please let us know. Yes. Yes, please go ahead. Yes, we have a problem with your audio. We cannot hear you properly. Yes, we have an issue with your maybe internet connection, so we cannot hear you properly. I will get now to Asiru and we can get back to you. So Asiru, the floor is yours.
So hello everyone. So firstly, I would like to thank all of the team because of course these workshops are really, really enriching, and as actors of the civil society, the problematic of the learning and of transformative pedagogy and transformative learning is really important for us because in our access of orientation, these elements are really, really essential and crucial for us. Something that I would like to highlight is that the culture of peace. So how can we go from a public space into a digital space, let's say? It's something that we're already tackling with some structures. So how we can build this relation between the everything that's digital and peace. This is a suggestion of mine, and thank you very much.
شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا أسيتو. أعتقد بالنسبة للفرص والتشبيكات فإحنا متواجدين على منصة الواتساب.
Thank you so much. I think that as for the networking, we are already there. And for sure, after the conduction of this workshop and also for the coming period, we can use, for instance, WhatsApp for the communications by which we can have the networking, especially with our geographical or maybe regional geography. Thank you so much, Asito. Now let me move to Ibrahim. Hello, welcome, my dear friend Nana. Greetings to everyone. I'm really happy participating with you in this workshop. For sure, I have a great positive feelings towards all of those working on the workshop, also towards the participants. Generally speaking, the workshop was really so deeply interactive, and the great networking that's been endorsed in this workshop has created a very comfortable zone for everyone, whether for the moderators, Minna, Associate, Richard, in addition also to the information, sharing experience, and also there was another important point, which was the entertaining aspect. So it was really a great experience with this workshop. Also, one of the most important things I've learned that I've been able to get into a lot of information related to the African continent. I had some information before, but now being deeply enriched, especially after the statistics that's being shared, especially about the conflict areas, about the violence, for instance, towards some areas like in Cameroon and southern Sudan. I used to have some information about it, but actually I wasn't having the exact figures and statistics. So one of the very important things that I've learned through the workshop was these figures. Also, one of the other things was actually to get acquainted with great calibers, they're very great activists in their countries. So this would give great get communicating together and networking. For instance, I can recall Khalud, Amina, my dear Haitham, Antonia, and others. So it was a really great chance to get to know all of my colleagues. Also, there was a great opportunity for sharing experiences along with those youth, especially when it comes to the group work, when we used to get divided into the groups and have the discussions, sharing experiences and views. We've even shared our contact details and our contact numbers for the WhatsApp, and I see that this is really important output. So generally speaking, I really pay tribute to all of the organizers and the great efforts you exerted, and great appreciation to all of your concerns that you shared, despite the fact that with other engagements. And I really also would like to reiterate on the networking dimension, which is a great thing that we usually lack, especially when it comes to this kind of remote workshops. For sure, you know, the remote workshop, they used to be somehow boring, but this one was unique. It was really good. We've listened to numerous African and Indian musics on the background. And also, we were so happy with the things that we learned. And just not to take much of your time, again, great appreciation to all of you and to my colleagues. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ibrahim. Actually, one of the most important things that we paid attention to make sure that your time is really valuable. So it has to be consumed very well. We know that you have other engagements, so we were focusing on the fact that making sure that your time that will be consumed during the workshop will be in good treats. I'm happy that you also commented on the scenarios that we shared, especially when it comes to the activities of the third day to apply the 6 key elements for the transformative pedagogy. And yes, for sure, we actually aimed by these activities to learn a lot about the various conflicts and disputes and to define the common and differences in various parts of the African. Alina, please, the floor is yours. Alina?
So thank you very much. I apologize, but I could not activate my camera. But I really wanted to thank the trainers and the organizers and as well all of the participants. For me, it was really enriching for me because my profile was not really compliant, let's say, with the participation to this workshop because I'm a journalist and I've been practicing for about 20 years in the media and since 2011 I'm specializing in everything that's conflict, peace and security. But most essentially, I'm working on the role of media in these issues, in the matters of peace and conflict and security. So how can we help with the training of peace journalists? Let's say I'm a peace journalist, and in addition to that, it's really important for me to see in the domains of learning through this workshop, essentially to build peace, for education to peace. How can we, as journalists, as media, as activists, as communicators specialized in gender issues, how can we help and support these programs and these projects, and even develop some projects and programs in order to help? So I'm also specialized in the television, and I work with a Pan-African television, and that covers a lot of African countries. So for me, really, it was a great pleasure to meet such exceptional men and women in the learning domains who are in a lot of countries, because of course I go and come to a lot of countries, not only in Senegal, and it was really enriching for me. What I really appreciated were the exercises, the approach, the participatory approach, the activity, the interactivity, the group work with the other people, within other countries, other nationalities. And when we were there, we were really a homogeneous group. We were not heterogeneous, we were not distinct. So I didn't feel that there were many nationalities. So I really loved it. And the workshop that I loved the most was yesterday. So when we had scenarios, precise ones, in order to identify the typology of conflicts in Africa. So thank you very much again. And I already shared my contact information, I think, in the chat box. So my email, my number, and we have tried to create a WhatsApp group for the participants coming from Senegal. So please, whoever did not join again, we're going to re-add the WhatsApp number in the chat. So we're still waiting to be admitted into the big WhatsApp group that you mentioned. So thank you very much again. And I learned a lot during these 4 days. So thank you very much again. I really hope to be able to help, and maybe we can have other workshops or other people that could really support our colleagues in the learning system. Thank you very much.
Well, Nina, thank you so much for the great comments and for the description of your review, and the fact that you found throughout the group working that the differences and the common thing that you have is really great thing that you learned and acquired, and that you focused on networking, and that you learned through the group working, that you have lots of experiences that being shared. Now I will move to Osman, and then I will get to Antoine and Emmanuel, so we can get to the comment session. Osman?
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello, Mina. So I would like to thank all of the trainers for the organization of this very, very interesting workshop that was really enriching for all of us. As Nina has already mentioned during her intervention, this workshop and this training have really allowed us to share our expertise, our knowledge, even though the contexts were different, especially in the African countries, because it's a bit complicated right now since we have a lot of conflicts that are still present. So I would like to say that it's really important to accentuate on the follow-up and on the evaluations, because I have also always worked with NGOs on violent extremism, on radicalization, and especially in Senegal. And we have found that the population, especially the youth, have a tendency to go into radicalization because of poverty, because of lack. So we need, as youth and as the future of Africa, of the African continent, we need to be able to engage all of the actors in order to be able to work more, to deploy more efforts, to work in synergy in order to find a solution for the conflicts, in order to find a solution for the problems in our communities. So really, this workshop has allowed us to have an overview, and I really wanted to celebrate the approach, the inclusive and participatory approach that's been adopted in this workshop. And of course, I would like to focalize again on the follow-up, on the evaluations, because in all of the workshops that I was part in, there was no follow-up, there was no evaluation. So they were very, very beautiful ideas. But what's really important is following up, is continuing to deploy efforts, is having a follow-up, having returns. So in order for us to be able to support these young people and these actors, and for them to be able to resolve issues, to find the solutions to problems related to their communities, especially in conflict. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Adnan. Actually, we will keep the follow-up with you. And I want to remind you all again that you have the questionnaire forum that has been shared on the chat box. I kindly requested to fill it all. Antoine?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I think that everyone that has spoken before me has already mentioned all of the qualities and the specialties of this workshop.
I really liked this training. That was really useful, and I was able to work a lot. It was very interesting, and it opened our eyes to things that are very interesting, because currently I am following a training outside of the capital where my internet connection is not stable. But I did my best to be able to follow this training during these 4 last days. And I would like to thank the organization team who knew very well how to prepare this activity. And I also think that I was able to reach my objective, which is to learn how to take this training with me to my teachers and to all the people who are relevant in this field. And I intend to send them this knowledge, especially my colleagues in Dakar. I would also like to thank the people who organized this training. I will be certain to move all this knowledge to my colleagues in Burkina. So I was also able to build very rich experiences. And I would like to thank you for the time that we spent together. It was very enjoyable, and congratulations, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Antoine. I know that it's really important to mention that despite the technical glitches that we all have been facing, but again, you were so concerned to keep attending. Now, Emmanuel, the floor is yours.
Okay. I have to say thank you so much for the facilitators and every participant, because this training, it has helped me a lot because I work with rural community members. So because of the different approaches that we have been taken through this workshop, it really will help to improve how we program and look at long-term effects of our programs. So I'm so thankful that even though we had the diverse individuals from different countries, still more, we had the opportunity to consolidate our efforts to come and engage on particular assignments that you did assign us. And I was happy also to present yesterday on group 5, which gave me the impetus to keep on working so hard so that in our communities there is peace in the sustainable development. So I'm so thankful for everyone, and I would that we still need to keep on engaging each other so that wherever we feel like we do not understand, we should ask those who understood better and develop our countries, because we are one people anyway. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Emmanuel. Now I will move to Petru.
Wow, everything have been said, the encomiums have been showered. I want to say thank you. But what I have to chip in is, as per Oliver Twist, we can only ask for more. What the pedagogy we've been taught, it's a training of the trainer tool that we've armed ourselves with. And I don't think just this session is enough to really digest and practicalize these things. So I'll be looking forward to some refresher courses, to some updates. You know, the good thing is that we get the links online, but also maybe in 3 months' time or something, let's have a refresher course. How far so far? And we take it up from there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Petru, for this great participation and comment. I think within the common period and the common workshops, we will consider what you just mentioned. Now, Elias, the floor is yours. Elias? Good. The floor is yours, and we will just conclude the session with your intervention. Good, are you there? Yes, I'm here. Peace and blessings on you, Minna. Yeah, thank you. Peace and blessings on you as well. Well, I would like to pay tribute profoundly you in person and all of the organizers and all the participants throughout the days of the workshop. And I wanted to say that meeting you was the top-notch meeting, and actually, as I can confirm that these 4 days that was full and rich of knowledge and upscaling our culture and experience. That's why I hereby invite all the participants in the workshop, or even all the leaders. I invite all the concerned and participants to be real ambassadors of communities, to be peace ambassadors, till we can reach to tangible solutions throughout all of the elements, making sure that we overcome all of the violence and stop running situations. And I would like also to confirm that for any future workshops, sessions, I'd like to be part of it, because we would confirm that by this we can get our communities away from violence, extremism, and stubborn. Because a lot of those extremists and violent people, they may just have misunderstanding for some religious verses and chapters. And this means that they do not understand. That's why I invite all of them to organize another program, especially targeting the correction interpretation of those religious verses that can help us more to spread the proper, authentic ideas, and this will help us to solve a lot of conflicts in the whole world, and precisely in our continent of Africa. And thank you so much. Well, Mukhtar, thank you so much. Yes, we are all peace ambassadors, and we all will have peace. I'm really sorry for all of the raised hand people, but I will have to move to the comment session. And again, thank you so much for your great interventions and participation. And I'm really happy that we've met your expectations. And again, thanks to all of those shared in our chat box. And now you have the link of the form, and you can fill in the gaps. Now, Suchis, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mena. Thank you, everyone, for the wonderful reflections and your inspiration. It's really good to see young people who are actively engaged in the communities, thinking of how they can incorporate this transformative approach into the programs they run. So we look forward to hearing how you go about with that. Just a couple of reminders and announcements. First of all, one is, yes, as it was shared on the link, please do complete the evaluation form. That's very important. And Dr. Jerusalem also shared with you a form to put your name so that it appears correctly on the certificate. Please fill that form as well. And then lastly, I think it's for me to just offer appreciation for going through this process despite the challenges with internet and many other things and your ongoing work. Being actively engaged and taking the time to reflect and think about the issues in our societies and how can we transform these issues. So much appreciation for all of you for your wonderful participation. Claps from me for that. And at the same time, I also want to appreciate the facilitators team, Mena, Richard, Nikki. Thank you for your dedication in this process and being there to support everyone. So thank you very much as well. I also want to appreciate all the interpreters. We had Dina, Mohammed, who else was there today? Was Rim and Karina. Then we had Rebecca, Yara, all of them, the interpreters, to making this possible, that we spoke in 3 different languages and still managed to run a workshop. That's not always easy to do, but here we did it much quite smoothly because of the support of the interpreters. So thank you very much for the team of interpreters. And then lastly, I appreciate Dr. Jerusalem for her leadership and the guidance in this workshop. She is the one behind the program coordinating from UNESCO IGBA. So thank you very much, Dr. Jerusalem, and as well as Henok, who is the technical person behind all of these online workshops. And with that, we thank all of you on behalf of the facilitators, and I hand over to Dr. Jerusalem for remarks from UNESCO IGBA.
Thank you very much, Suchit, and I will give the remarks for Dr. Rooks, but before I invite Dr. Rooks for some closing thoughts, I would like to thank all the participants in this workshop and thank you all for your active participation throughout the trainings, and thank you for your insightful and thoughtful discussions that we had so far, and we really learned a lot from this discussion. And I would like to sincerely thank also the African Union Youth for Peace section for their strong technical support and advice. And thank you, Arigato International, of course, Suchit for as a lead facilitator, and our wonderful facilitators, Richard and Manna, and of course our interpreters and the IT colleagues, Henok, and all the rest of the team for their wonderful coordination so that we can have a smooth platform like this. And thank you very much to you all again. And I believe that this training gave us a new perspectives, and it also helped us to share our experiences and practices. And I hope this vibrant engagement will also continue. And of course, we already set the ground for that. So we will keep on contacting you, and we will keep on working and planning together for the implementation of the program. And thank you very much once again. And please fill the form as Suchit said, so that it will help us to have your name to be captured correctly for your certificate, as well as for continuous communication and information sharing when we are communicating you at your respective country level. And thank you once again. And I invite Dr. Rooks for his closing remarks. Dr. Rooks, I hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yerus. You know, it's always a pleasure to say a few words at these events. I think what the AU through the Y4P and the UN through UNESCO IGBA have once again succeeded in doing is showing that multilateralism is indeed alive and is geared towards achieving the same purpose, which is peace globally. I think this event is one where we can proudly say that we are contributing our quota. And just like you have, I would like to say a really big thank you to Richard and Mena. They've been fantastic. I've been coming in and out. And I must say that I like the seamless flow of the way they have handled this. I want to also say a big thank you to the participants. I see it's been really, really full of energy. I can see everyone, you know, being really looking forward to contribute their take to issues, whether in the group sessions, the breakout sessions, the plenary, and even now when the roundup was going on. So, you know, I think this has really, really been encouraging. And I think I like one remark where one of the participants, I don't remember the name now, said, you know what, would it be useful to check up on us in a few months? I think he said 3 months to see how we're doing what we're doing with what we've learned. I think this is really useful. Yes, we intend that, you know, this is not a one-off, but one where those of you who are part of this training would also be able to use this opportunity to enhance your knowledge and capacities and then pass on to others. And I think this is really what we're looking to do. It's been great having you all here, and I think that we will be looking forward to a cohort that is, you know, as active as you have been. Of course, Yerus has mentioned the interpreters. Thank you so much from the AU. Without you, of course, we'd be lost. We are so grateful to Suchit and Tim for all the work that has gone from the beginning of this endeavor till now. And of course, Yerus, you and your team, UNESCO IGBA, you know, it's a delight actually working with you. And I'm going to put this out there publicly. The Y4P team has been extremely busy. Right now, I'm maneuvering 2 meetings, even though I'm on leave. But you know, the beauty of this collaboration is that Yerus, you've actually taken on, you and Suchit, of course, your teams have taken on more because of this. And I think I want to applaud you publicly for that. It's indeed testamentary to the way that, you know, we all, you know, should be working, covering up for each other when we're not 100% available. So thank you so much, especially to Yerus and her colleagues, as well as Suchit and colleagues. To my colleagues at the Y4P team, 3 of them are in a different meeting I'm in as well. But, you know, in the absence, I'd like to appreciate them and all the work they've put to this up till this point. And without taking so much more time, you know, thank you so much, everyone. Let's continue on this journey to bring peace to the continent, and let's continue to these conversations in different spaces, different places, different ways, as we make our contributions to peace globally. I thank you so much, and I look forward to the next time that we're together to continue these sort of conversations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rooks, and it's always a pleasure to work and collaborate with your section also. Thank you very much, and I would like also to thank your team for their prompt action whenever your support is needed. And thank you very much, and thank you all participants. I think this is time to say goodbye to each other, and so we can put our videos on and we can say thank you and goodbye, but keep in touch. Thank you all. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Keep in touch.
Bye, guys.
Please use the WhatsApp also to share the information. Thank you very much.
Hey,